first time since the 1990s, the Gap appears to be cool again. The retailer's new design and marketing initiatives do appear to be resonating with shoppers. The stock's up over 85% just this year. And earnings, well, they were also up 29% in the second quarter. So how did the Gap turn things around? Well, Rob Frankel is a branding expert and author of The Revenge of Brand X, How to Build a Big-Time Brand on the Web or Anywhere Else. And Natalie Zmuda is an editor and reporter at Advertising Age. Rob, let me start with you. I mean, is it too soon to declare victory here for the Gap? Do these things perhaps sometimes fall back on themselves, or do you think they really have forged sort of a new identity again for a brand that certainly suffered greatly after being a winner for quite some time?
I'm really sorry to break the news, but this is like the 18,000th time that the Gaps and their new executive team has said that they are doing some sort of rebranding. There actually still is no real branding, and the last time they did something and really pushed this kind of press release was when they signed Sarah Jessica Parker to a $3 million contract in hoping of spiking that. And that didn't do anything either. The Gap has for a long time been essentially bankrupt. They've got an identity and they've got awareness, and they got a lot of press releases, but when you still get down to it, there's absolutely no reason why the Gap should be perceived as anything unique or special, especially when you look at their competitors like, for example, American Eagle Outfitters or even Abercrombie.
Yeah, of course, the Gap also is not just the Gap, but it's Banana Republic and Old Navy. I mean, many would say, Natalie, that perhaps the company would be better off having separated into those and each creating its own identity more effectively in the market.
Perhaps, but I think Gap is actually doing a pretty good job right now of getting out there in the marketplace and doing some really interesting things on social media, looking at some big content plays, and that, I think, is going to start from the ground up, really giving consumers something to believe in and helping to define what that Gap brand is.
Rob, you are being very harsh on a business that appears to be doing extremely well relative to where it has been if you look at the data that they come through with, and certainly the view on the stock market with the share move over the last 12 months.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, because I'll tell you, one of the best success stories you can have is with a client who has really no place to go but up. The fact is that Gap has been underperforming as a brand for a long time, and I would take issue with the fact that it is a brand because, quite honestly, even in the social media darling world of the digital age in which we live, go to the Gap website. The biggest thing that you're going to see are 25% off now, discount coupon codes, save this
Yeah,
much.
and I can get that. I get emails from Abercrombie every week with exactly the same. That's the nature of retail at the moment. Why do you think the brand is so important in retail at the moment? Isn't the truth that increasingly, particularly as you go online, people will be prepared to shift through different brands, through different shopping experiences to find actually product that they want, and the product ultimately leads, and in this instance with colour, it would appear the Gap has delivered.
Actually, all the Gap has really delivered is a lot of press releases. If you look at their new campaign that they're trying to do, this is essentially the same thing after the Sarah Jessica Parker failure that they tried with Joss Stone. The problem is that they don't have a brand strategy. And in order to have a brand strategy, you have to be perceived as being the only solution. You don't have to be the only solution, but the whole point of a brand is to say, yeah, I don't want to go shopping anyplace else. Give me a reason why. And to date, anybody can ever come up with a reason why they see Gap as the only solution. That's
Natalie,
why other competitors can do well.
Natalie, I assume you don't see it that way.
I'm going to have to disagree. I think that they're doing some really good things. They've had some successes with 1969 denim. They had a big campaign around black pants a couple years ago. The bright is working for them, and they've got, they're someone that's known for basics, right? So this modern icons redefined, where they're looking at redefining the white shirt, bringing color into bottoms, I think, gives consumers a reason to go there, because Gap, regardless of what's been happening over the last number of years, there is a level of brand trust there. It's familiar. It's on every street corner, and consumers are comfortable shopping there if you give them a reason to.
Rob, isn't that the strategy of the Gap then? Isn't that, portraying themselves as the only solution for classic American basics at a good price, decent quality there, and pretty much on note when it comes to fashion trends, whether it be skinny black pants or colored denim or whatnot?
That would be good, and if Gap really wanted to identify with that, then that's really what they should state their brand strategy as being. The problem is that they keep going to these celebrities, up-and-coming things. They keep distracting themselves and the public from delivering that message. So to this day, nobody can articulate really why they would go to the Gap.
But Rob, isn't teen retail unique in that your target audience is always new and always coming online? You view it as a very different thing as an older man than those teenagers coming through. You know, every year you've got to grab them at age 8, 9 or 10.
You know what, Simon? I just watched you deliver a sermon on Apple where you articulated every reason why you buy everything Apple. And that's what Gap needs to be able to get from their constituents as well.
Wow.
I've clearly said too much.
No, but I mean, the thing is that when it comes to retail, and I think Natalie would even agree, there's hardly there's not one solution for anything.
No.
As an avid shopper, I don't look at any retailer as a solution.
How many worse performers are there? There are loads of badly performing retail chains at the moment. There's very few that pop up, surely.
There are a lot of retail chains that are doing badly, and they're all doing badly for the same reason. You look at JCPenney, that's what they're trying a price strategy. They're trying to import management from Apple. That isn't working. No brand strategy. Look at Sears, a very trusted retailer, one of the best brands in American history, circling the drain. Why? No brand strategy. Everything is going to the wrong reasons.
But from a marketing perspective, though, with a brand strategy, and here's the thing I love about Glenn Murphy, he is very clear with his marketers. If he doesn't feel like there's a strong message there and not a strong brand strategy, he's not going to spend on it. And the marketers there know exactly where they stand. And I would suspect they're feeling pretty good today because Glenn said on the call, I love the marketing. They got more money from me in the first half. And Gap North America specifically is going to get more money in the second half because we're on the right track.
Okay, we got to leave it there, Natalie. Thanks to you both, Natalie Smuda and Rob Frankel.